Good to go from my side, Svenka.
Thank you, Walter. Welcome everybody to the closing ceremony of 12th ÖGMBT annual meeting, Biomolecules in and for the 21st century. My name is Drinka from ÖGMBT office, for the ones who don't know me, and I would just like to explain how to do your Zoom etiquette and affiliation in the app. So, okay, so there is two options to do so. You have option of choosing the three dots in the upper top right corner of your profile picture. And in the drop-down menu, you can write your first, last name, your affiliation. So whether you're a PhD postdoc student, which university and company you work for. Also, the other option is to change your name in an affiliation in the participants list. We have a really exciting hour in front of us, and I will let now my colleague Walter take over.
Thank you, Svenka. Before I hand over to the chairs, or actually I hand over, I'll do a slide share.
While Walter Glase is opening the slide share, it's my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the organizers, scientific organizers of this conference, that's Helmut Berger and myself, for this closing event of the 12th annual meeting of our society. And as a teaser for what you have missed by having the online format and not having had the chance to travel to Graz, we will first show you a short movie of about 4 minutes, what Graz looks like in different seasons. So you've seen what Graz looks like in different seasons, and just 3.5 years from now, there should be the next opportunity to attend an ÖGMBT annual meeting in Graz, so less than 4 years to go. But what was the meeting of the 2020 season like? As expected, we were having a lot of participants from Austria, but we were quite international. Altogether, 22 different nationalities participated in this event, with the participants per country as indicated on this slide. So worldwide, even including Singapore or US, and of course a lot of European countries were involved. The participants, well, were to a large extent regular participants and or PhD students, but occasionally we had a few bachelor level or master students among our attendees as well. And of course, we had 45 invited speakers and a number of persons from industry and also sponsors and the exhibitors beside the chairs. It was remarkable, especially of course, that during the kickoff days, we had the most page views on LinkedIn, and ÖGMBT is present on different platforms, not only LinkedIn. There is a contribution, but also, of course, the Young Life Science Austria group, ILSA, is also present on LinkedIn, and both are present also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we have quite a number of followers and received a number of posts. So also on these platforms, our conference and our society has been active over the last half year. And this is all important because we have provided information for each participant on which kind of platform everybody can be contacted relatively easily. And this information, be it LinkedIn or be it Twitter, Facebook, or other social platform activity, can be found on the participant index of the program and abstract booklets that have been handed out. With this, I would like to thank all chairs, all plenary speakers, panelists, presenters, also of special presentations, usually in the end of each Life Science Tuesday that have been given. And I would like to simply show you for the kickoff days first, what were the topics. It's not indicated on this slide, but we started according to the current situation of our society, general society, not only the ÖGMBT, with a morning of presentations on coronavirus research being performed in Austria, and had 3 speakers who were working on this topic from different angles. It was Marc Dürkop, Christian Gruber, and Christoph Steininger. And after this morning session on the coronavirus research, we celebrated, and this is one of the special features of our society, we celebrated the performance and the great achievements of our young colleagues by awarding, on the one hand side, research awards to Laura Gallego, Christina Meyer-Ruths, and Thomas Gassler. And on the other hand, there were the PhD awards awarded to Aglaya Kopf and Benjamin Salzer. This was an event that was streamed also on YouTube and had quite a number of followers this way. Then the second day of the kickoff event in September 2020 was dedicated to developing emerging technology, namely cryo-EM, with the speakers David Hasselbach and panelists as indicated here. This second kickoff day was then in the afternoon, oh sorry, that's the next slide, was in the afternoon then dedicated to pitching all Life Science Tuesdays, which Helmut Berger will talk about in a few minutes. And it was dedicated also to starting the virtual expo. And I will later on discuss also the virtual expo, where our sponsors and company partners presented themselves and gave us the opportunity to talk to them. Something that is certainly a point that we should improve on during the next meetings, because this kind of virtual contact that was the only point where we saw deficits in this format, this virtual format, that we could not have these frequent and lively discussions that we would have at in-presence meetings. After them, the Kickoff Day 2, the Kickoff Day 3 was dedicated to healthy aging in the 21st century with Brian Kennedy from Singapore as plenary speaker. And in the afternoon, and this is a special joy of and special feature of the ÖGMBT meetings, the young colleagues in the life sciences in Austria, the ILSA team, showed possibilities in career opportunities and invited renowned speakers and renowned representatives in the life sciences as panelists to discuss career opportunities. And I vividly recall actually this afternoon because there were very good hints and very good tips for young colleagues how careers either in academia or in industry could look like. And with this, the kickoff days in September were ended and we started for a new format that Helmut Berger will talk about.
Okay, thank you very much, Harald. I will now also share my screen. If this would be possible. Okay. So, as Harald, a warm welcome also from my side. Yeah, it's really great to have you all here, and to also have so many attendees also in this last Life Science Tuesday and in the final ceremony. So as Harald told you already, the second column of our meeting was the Life Science Tuesdays, and this was introduced actually to give the young scientists the opportunity to show their results in this online meeting. So on a bi-weekly basis, we met each other and could hear interesting talks related to different topics. So that the program of a Life Science Tuesday included an invited lecture and short talks and also flash talks, which were introduced as substitution for posters, because we did not want to stick just to uploaded PDF files, but these flash talks were short videos which gave the students the opportunity to show their results. So and finally, there were also some special presentations in each Life Science Tuesday, most of which were organized by the chairs. So for the presentation of these Life Science Tuesdays, we could we are happy, or we were happy to get quite a lot of support from the chairs, and these chairs were all distinct scientists, but still we were looking on the that most of them are really at an early stage of their career. So we had topics like lipid metabolism, RNA biology, structure to function, organelle transport, microbiome, chemical biology. So these were the Life Science Tuesdays that took place in 2020, and in 21. We had new biologics, novel analytical tools, infection immunity, tissue engineering, regenerative medicine, omics and data analysis, translational oncology, and finally today, production systems of the future. So when setting up this meeting and deciding on which which themes we should focus. Harald and I decided to do these topics actually, because we had the impression that these topics are getting more important in the beginning of the 21st century than maybe other topics. And parts of the topics, of course, were selected because they have a strong relationship to cards. So as Harald told you, there was a pitching of the chairs that set up these sessions, and they introduced themselves, and they also introduced their topics, their research topics. And I would like to draw your attention to the fact that you can watch these short videos on YouTube. So you can get to know the chairs of the individual sessions, even if you missed one particular Life Science Tuesday. So, the chairs, as I mentioned, set up the program with plenary speakers and special presentations. So the plenary speakers all included international well-known experts from all over the world. So this was not focused on Austria here, but was quite international, spanning from France to Canada. And the plenary speakers were all really high quality and gave us interesting insights into their research. And finally, at the end of the day, there were also special presentations which span quite a lot, quite a large list of topics. For example, René Schröder gave us some insights into the development of the RNA biology field, or Peter Johnson gave us some value, or gave the young students valuable hints about their career development. So this was rather broad presentations, which ended the usual Life Science Tuesday, or which finalized the Life Science Tuesdays. But of course, as I mentioned, the most important part possibly in a Life Science Tuesdays are the young students and their research. And so we had short talks and science flashes. And just to give you a view on the people here, it's just a selection of the young scientists that presented their work here in form of short talks, and also in form of the science flashes, just that you can get to know them. And it was really astonishing how good they made the presentation, and to get a glimpse how good they are doing the research actually. So these were certainly highlights on each Life Science Tuesday. So I want to thank all the short talk presenters, and also the science flash presenters, and of course also the invited speakers and the presenters of the special presentations. And my special thanks also goes to the chairs that did set up highly interesting and relevant programs, and were really very dedicated to this meeting. So these short talks and science flash presenters, as I mentioned, they were really of high quality. And so we also gave, as usually in our annual meetings, we also gave some awards. So we selected best short talks and best science flashes. And and we did split this up for 2020 and 21, and the best science flash presentations were further selected into the categories scientific excellence and most creative presentation. So the most creative presentation we of course introduced due to the novel format of this meeting, because the special format, or the online format, of course, required novel and creative presentations to show the results for the young students, and this we wanted to honor with this special award. So and now we can go also to those of you that were present in the Life Science Tuesdays will remember that we had the polls. So we selected the best short talks, or the best short talks and the best science flashes were selected by specialized polls in each Life Science Tuesday, and for each the winner of each Life Science Tuesday was taken over to a short list of students that could win the prize, and finally the actual winner was selected by three of us, by Lukas Huber, the president of the ÖGMBT, who will talk later at the ending of this ceremony, and by Harald Bichler and by me. So we selected the best short talks and best science flashes out of all our presentations, and for 2020 and 21, which was, I confess, quite a hard job, because all presentations were really, really good, and but there can only be one winner, and for the best short talks in 2020, so this was Life Science Tuesday 1 to 6. The awards were sponsored by Beckman Coulter, and the winner for the first for 2020 is Madeleine Stefani from the GMI in Austria, and the second winner for the year 2021 selected from the short talks from Life Science Tuesdays 7 to 12 was Verena Köhler from the Messerly Research Institute. So these were the winners of the short talks, and the winners or the awards for the best science flashes were sponsored by BMC, and the first winner for 2020 in the category scientific excellence was Isabella Potocznik from the University in Graz, and the second winner for 2021 was Andreas Feichtner from the University in Innsbruck. Finally, the most creative presentations were, the awards for the most creative presentations were sponsored by Microsynth, and these were for 2020, Verena Baumann from the Max Perutz Lab, and Sabrina and Soba Karutedon George from the Donau University Krems. So the presentations were really great, and due to time limitations, I'm really sorry that we cannot show you all of these presentations, but just as one example, I will show
The word autophagy comes from the Latin for self-eating.
And
autophagy is a highly conserved catabolic recycling process that protects the cell, for example, from a lack of nutrients, aggregated proteins, damaged organelles, or even invading pathogens. Now, how does this actually work? To figure this out, I suggest we take a closer look into the cell. In order to be degraded, the harmful material is enwrapped in a double membrane structure. The formation of this structure starts with a small cup-shaped membrane that continues to grow all around its cargo material. The completed so-called autophagosome then is transported to the cellular recycling bin. A process like that is catalyzed by a complex machinery of proteins, and actually the puzzle pieces that are needed for the successful formation of an autophagosome are pretty well known. However, how all these factors are combined and come together has so far been enigmatic. To shed more light into a complex cellular machinery like this, it often helps to take it apart and rebuild it. Therefore, we isolated 21 components from the cell and reassembled them in the test tube. What did we find out with this approach? Among these factors are the ATG9 vesicles, which were known to be needed for autophagy, but their actual role was unclear. We could observe that these vesicles are directed to the autophagic cargo. Further, ATG9 vesicles act as a platform for the assembly of the autophagic machinery. Among the recruited proteins, we also observed the lipid transfer protein ATG2. This protein bridges the ATG9 vesicles to the endoplasmic reticulum, and in this way, lipids are transferred from an external membrane source to the emerging autophagosome. Based on this in vitro reconstitution, we propose that ATG9 vesicles act as seeds for the formation of the autophagosome.
I hope you enjoyed this presentation as we did. It's really great and very creative, and I think you confirmed that this was worth awarding it. I would also like to mention that due to the generosity of our sponsors, we could also increase the awards, and so everyone who is awarded will be donated with 150 euros. So with that said, I would like to hand over again to Harald, and will stop my screen share here.
Thank you, Helmut. From my side also, thank you for these great presentations. Congratulations to this major achievements. And Helmut has already also mentioned that we have financial support for awards, but not only that, we also have financial support for organizing this conference at all, because it's a major effort, as you might understand. And we had support from ministries, we had support from FEPS and FEMS, and also from a large number of companies. Some representatives of the companies shown here are with us for this closing ceremony. I thank you not only for joining today, but also for supporting us through this year or half year at least. And I express my sincere hopes that you will stick with us despite the problems we might have had with the format of the virtual expo. It's a learning phase, and it's not, well, easy going to stick to the computer screen for 4 hours or 5 hours. And what we underestimated was the drive of every participant to simply leave the screen for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of the breaks and go for some, let's say, bio breaks, I suppose, coffees and similar. And we have already started the discussion phase to have a new format, hopefully for the next conference, where the planning phase has already started and which will take place as of September in Innsbruck. And with this, I would like to thank you once more for your support, and for sure we are in contact not only through the conferences, but of course due to our daily lives in the labs, where we need consumables, equipment, and information. And just to illustrate the attempts that have been done to make this interaction between scientists in the lab and our company partners a bit more lively. This is indicating that company partners have sponsored great prizes for the Exhibitor Quizzes that were taking place every Life Science Tuesday on the platform of the Virtual Expo. The approach was that when visitors answered a number of questions with single exhibitors, the person with the most correct answers would get one of these sponsored prizes. And the range, as you see, was quite creative, from t-shirts, books, AirPods, backpacks, over books and watches, even speakers, loudspeakers from Boomster, to Amazon vouchers, book vouchers, everything you can think of, all the different goodies that are there, goodie packages from some companies. And we have a number of winners, some of which we have even with photos, and some we have names. Congratulations to all these winners. You were among those who tried to bridge the gap to the Virtual Expo. Thank you for participating in these quizzes. And with this and the slide that I'm just showing now, it's time to come for the final words by the organizers. And Helmut, would you like to go first? And then I wrap up from my side.
Okay. Yeah. This looking back now for more than half a year, or about half a year, with this meeting organization and with this Life Science Tuesdays and the kickoff event, I have to say that I was really very positively surprised that it worked that well. I mean, when we started with the organization, we were rather skeptical that this could work, a virtual meeting, because everybody of us has attended enough webinars and whatever. I confess that I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning, but now I'm really very positive surprised, and I should say I learned a lot during this half a year, and it was really an interesting experience. It was a completely new format, and what we tried to make, and of course there were some minor pitfalls, but taken together, I'm really very positive, and I think it was very important to do it in a online format and not to just cancel the annual meeting, as we also discussed shortly about 1 year ago. So of course, such a meeting is just living from the attendees and from not so much from the organizers, but from all those that are participating. This includes, of course, the chairs, the people who make the presentations, the students, and also, of course, from the back office here, and I know that Harald will also thank the back office, but I also want to do this here in my words. So great thanks to the back office. Without you, this would not have been possible. And I would also like to thank all the participants here now, because when we met in the afternoon, we were thinking how many people will come. And now I'm also very positively surprised that so many people were here. And this shows that you stick with us and you support us. And this is great to know. So please stay with the ÖGMBT. And as as you did in the past also. And thank you for being here and attending also this ceremony. Harald, the stage is yours. Thank you very much all together.
Thank you, Helmut. Well, I would like to thank, as Helmut said, the back office team. That is, I start chronologically. My first contact was Alexandra, who is for maternity right now. Then more or less in chronological order, I got to know Walter, then Andrea, and then Zrinke. You have been great in organizing, in preparing the choreography for each of the Life Science Tuesdays, and also for the technical details that Walter always managed to keep under control. Thank you for all of this. Thank you also to Lukas Huber as the president. He not only motivated us or sometimes almost pushed us into this format, he supported us also almost every Life Science Tuesday by our debriefing afterwards, where we tried to learn from each of the events. And I recall that the major discussions were less the science and discussions, which worked out well because everybody was contributing actively. It was in most of these discussions, it was the virtual expo. That was our concern, and that was starting with the second Life Science Tuesday already. The first one, I think, was an exception. But as of second, we always discussed how can we improve the viability of this format. After this, thanks to industrial partners, to all people involved in the organization, I would like to come back to the very beginning. And this conference actually was the first for me in that dimension, that size. I had organized or was involved in organization of smaller meetings, but not meetings with 500 participants overall, as we've had, or even more. And what initially we wanted to do in the presence meeting in Graz was to avoid one little trap that local organizers sometimes fall into in such national events, namely that the major focus is only on the topics that are regionally important. And it was our explicit goal from the start to involve as many as possible of the scientists from Salzburg, Krems, Innsbruck, Vienna. And if you look at the awards that you've seen, I think we have had some success at least, because it was widely spread, both the attendance as well as the awards that were awarded just a few minutes ago. And with that being said, I thank especially the young colleagues. And before we move on to the final words and final slides from the side of the organizers, I think we should still point out especially the ILSA team. And I will stop my presentation for Zrinke to show some slides on the activities and the events in the past and in the future of ILSA before we come to the final stages and also the words of our president. So I'll stop here and I would ask Zrinke to talk on ILSA events.
Thank you, Harald, very much. So as you said, I would like to first of all start my presentation. Yes. So I would like to talk about the Life Science Career Fair that also started with the kickoff of 12th annual meeting and the ILSA career events, so the young branches, and thank both of them. And so Life Science Career Fair is the first online Life Science Career Fair that started with the kickoff event and was paired with career events of Young Life Scientist Austria. So we thank all the companies that were present at the career fair with their booths and all the activities they offered and all the engagement. We had 14 different companies, starting with Alisa Vienna that has clusters of 900 companies. So it was really interesting setup. And to boost the Life Science Career Fair, we engaged our Young Life Scientists Austria with the career events that they are organized. Young Life Scientists Austria have 4 branches all over Austria with over 15 volunteers at the moment. And they were really active in the past year with bi-weekly meetings where they planned variety of these events. And they had over 7 events in the past year, but just from the start of the annual event, we had 4 different events, 2 Life Beyond Academia events and out of the box talks, where different career paths were presented with people sharing their daily work, their switch from academia to industry and variety of experiences. And also we had recruiters from companies talking about the application process. So overall, very interesting and very new and informative approach that would help young life scientists all over Austria and internationally. So as we noticed that and we planned then to organize variety of events from Young Life Science Austria and pair it with the career booths. So the career booths will usually be active on the day of the Young Life Scientist Austria event. And here you can see the page views of the career booth, Life Science Career Fair, and you can see the visits at the booths, and they were highest at the point where we had the events from Young Life Scientists Austria, especially at the kickoff event of the annual event, of the annual meeting, and also at the Life Beyond Academia in November. And at the career booths, we had a variety of activities from our companies, such as CV checks, one-to-one interviews, chats, which led then to many visits. So Young Life Scientists Austria are very active, and they have planned the calendar already for the upcoming months. So on the May 20th, there is variety of speakers from Sandoz talking on their journeys, and Sandoz will talk about job opportunities. Also in June, we will have product manager from Erber talking. In July, we will hear about regulatory affairs. Then after a short summer break, there will be plenty of, again, career events with presenting of different job profiles that people can occupy with a life science degree, and also variety of skills workshops. So it will be pretty exciting. Once more, I want to thank to all the companies that were part of the Life Science Career Fair and for all the activities and engagement they invested throughout these last 6 months, and also to all the Young Life Scientists Austria, all the volunteers that were so busy and hardworking to plan all of these interesting events. Now I would like to hand over the bat to the Hesse Faran, the main organizer of the 13th annual event. So we are handing over the bat from Graz to Innsbruck.
Zrinka, just one more point.
Yes.
One more point. The recognition awards for you, we should not forget, so to speak.
Recognition awards.
Well, if you just stop your presentation, I'll show you what I mean.
Okay, yes.
So the so-called recognition awards go to the back office team, and depending on interests and special situations, you see the images, what everybody will get as a recognition award. I will leave it to your imagination how this looks like. I think some of the images are telling. And I think this is the stage to say thank you to all at one moment. And with this, Helmut and I would like to hand over the baton to Innsbruck and finish with our contribution for this year at least. Thank you.
So then I guess that's now my part. Now I will start sharing my presentation here. So my name is Hesse Farhan. I'm newly appointed at the Medical University Innsbruck. I just started at the end of last year, so 21st of December 2020. And so I'm myself new to Innsbruck. And then when I freshly started, Lucas, the President Huber actually asked me, do you want to be the organizer of the next meeting? I said, okay, let's go for it. So this is our color scheme for the next meeting. This is our punchline from molecular machines to translational medicine. We are planning now and hoping for a physical meeting on the 20th of September to 22nd of September. We chose as colors blue, and actually this is, to be precise, this is indigo blue with white and yellowish, so symbolizing the beautiful skies over Tyrol, the snow on the mountain, and the sunshine. So this is the idea, this is the philosophy behind it. We have a very unique approach, I would say. So there is not one organizer, although I'm speaking to you now. We are 15 organizers. We are 15 people that have decided in several meetings together, how are we going to organize the meeting, which sessions are we going, which topics are the most important. And then each of these people will be also then chairing these sessions and promoting them. So we have up to now 20 speakers, planned are 21, so only one speaker so far is not confirmed. Of these 20 speakers, 40% are female. They are from 8 different countries, mostly from Europe, with one speaker from the United States. We have 3 keynote speakers for the 3 different days. These are Bas von Stenzel. Then we are very happy that Doug Hanahan, so those of you who work in cancer research, know the hallmarks of cancer, like this paper was cited over 50,000 times, which is a dream to have one paper cited so much. So Doug Hanahan will be also attending our meeting. And on the last day, we have Lisa Henske from the Harvard Medical School, who will be also giving a keynote lecture on the topic translational oncology. This last day will end at about noon, and in the afternoon, we will have the Life Science Career Fair. We will maintain the same spirit as in all the previous meetings, and we will still have Life Science Awards. So I was specifically asked to announce that this will be still the case. And we hope that we will have active participation in this hopefully physical meeting. However, we have informed all our invited speakers that they should not book their tickets before May, because in May we will make a final decision whether we will have a physical meeting or whether we will go for a second edition of an online digital meeting, more or less in the same way as it has been organized now. With this, I am done, and I would stop my presentation and hand over to Lucas, I think.
Yes, thank you. Now comes the moment for my closing remarks. From my role as the president of the society. So this was an expedition, it was an adventure. And this adventure and this expedition, so to say, started in March, April, when the lockdown was hitting us rather hard. And the idea came from the fact that 2 days before I had to start my cell biology lecture for medical students that I newly prepared and was very proud of, was cancelled because the university was closed and we were locked out, and nobody knew what will come up to us. And within 2 or 3 days, with the help of my son, I learned how to stream and how to use YouTube for teaching. And I attracted many students and all the medical students came to my YouTube channel that I newly generated, and I streamed all my lectures from that day on. It was a jump into the cold water, so to say, but I survived it. And meanwhile, I have more than 75,000 views on the channel. So it was a successful project at the end of the day. And it gave rise to the idea, when everything closes down and we are not allowed anymore to meet in person in a meeting room like we are used to do, because this is part of our life, what can we do? And then the idea was born, maybe we should start very early and make the decision in April already that it will not be possible to have this meeting in presence. And at that time, I was involved in the advisory board of the Ministry of Health for setting up the screening strategies in Austria and for ensuring the supply. And my role there as a medical doctor and advisor, I realized pretty soon it would be hopeless in fall. We will never be able to have a meeting in presence, and we started organizing it. And then we contacted Harald and Helmut, and at the beginning, they were kind of cautiously optimistic that that might work out or not, but we convinced them. And it worked out in a way that can only be described as really great. And it was an unprecedented case in Austria that we as a society, with the really pioneering work of Harald and Helmut, could position ourselves as a kind of service provider for the scientific community. And that is what scientific communities and scientific organizations like us, the ÖGMBT, have to do. We have to be there, and we have to provide a backbone for scientific communication. And this backbone has to be cultivated, and the members have to be brought on board, and they have to be brought into this kind of new format. Not that this will always be in the future the format we are going for, but it is a crisis, to remind you. And when there is a crisis, there is not very much reason to complain about the crisis. What you should do is to try to survive in the crisis. And we survived in that crisis, and we survived with these two pioneers who helped us to organize that and to bring it into a format that was so far not presented by any scientific community in Austria. And I will share now something on that screen for you, and you should see it. And these are these two pioneers in a montage that we generated. And I would like to thank them officially from the society. And what they got as a little present is shown here. It's called a Fetzel. You know, Fetzel is very convenient. You know, you need that when you go to the mountains. And these two guys are pioneers. They go to the mountains. They go to the top of the hills. They go to uncharted territory. And therefore, we thought about a personalized Fetzel, so to say, which is produced by an Austrian company, which is a kind of multi-purpose tissue for doing outdoor sports, where you can collect things in, you can dry your face, you can put it up as a cap, you can use it for everything. And with this wholeheartedly presented little Fetzel, we would like to thank you once again, Helmut and Harald, for your pioneering work and for helping us out in a crisis. And when I saw to this afternoon's presentation, and I saw the flash talk, for example, today, and when we looked at the other videos in the course of the jury sessions, then we were also very much satisfied, because it was the right way, and it was coming back so warmly, you know, from the hands of your scientists. And be ensured that we are continuing with all our efforts to serve the community and to bring you meetings. Hopefully we can bring you a meeting in presence in Innsbruck. Thank you, Hesso, for taking over this. It was very uncomplicated. It was very nice how we communicated and how you volunteered to take that over, although you just arrived in Innsbruck and I have put already a lot of burden on you. So please take my apologies for that, but take my honest thanks for that you serve already our community. Now, after thanking the organizers and the organizer of the next meeting, I have to thank our company partners. We all have to realize that without their support, there would not be a scientific community. And if it's us, the ÖGMBT, if it's the immunologists, the oncologists, the microbiologists, we all are dependent on their help. And maybe they have not gained so much this year in terms of contacts or that they could sell products directly. But what they gained is our respect, and they gained a fame for that they supported us. A society like ours in deep water, in troubled water, in stormy water was supported by our company partners, that we could donate prizes again to our young scientists, that we could organize the entire thing, that we could finance the thing. And I would really like to say thank you to all of you who supported us, who are present today, tonight in this session, who will look at that video on YouTube. Please be sure that we are very, very thankful, and we will try our very, very best to satisfy your needs and to meet your needs for the next meeting, regardless if it will be in presence in Innsbruck or it will be online again. And then, of course, our life artery has to be mentioned here once again, and every society needs a fresh blood supply, and our life artery is ILSA. And all young guys working in ILSA, supporting ILSA, and for ILSA supporting us, and especially Srinka also, who presented that so nicely and who works so much behind the curtains. Thank you for all your efforts. You are our future, and we are extremely proud of you. And please keep going with us to reach our goal that we will become all a big scientific community in Austria. And then thanks to our back office, Alexandra, who is a happy mother now with a beautiful baby. Thank you for all your groundbreaking work. Thank you for Andrea, who took over in incredible efficiency and speed. We all enjoy working with you. Thank you, Walter. Without you, nothing would work, I'm sure. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Srinka, and thank you, Birgit. Yeah, that's the end from my side. And it's not the end, it's the beginning of a new era. We have adapted to the needs, and we will continue to do so because we are a strong community and we all believe in our community. And now I would like to ask you for a final favor. Turn all your cameras on, please. And we make a big screen, and then everybody, when we have this big screen in front of us, we make a big applause once again to the organizers, to the companies, and to our back office. And then we take a screenshot photo that we remember this day. I stop my presentation now, and please turn on your cameras that we can make a bit of an applause now. So,
thank you everybody for making this a great meeting.
Yeah. Thank you. So maybe if everybody could turn on his camera now that we make this goodbye picture and say goodbye. We are still 33 persons present here. Thank you for turning on your camera. We make this picture now, and we all applaud once again to Harald, to Helmut, and to the back office, and to our companies who supported us. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was it from my side. Now I close officially this year's meeting. Thank you for participating. Thank you for supporting us, and keep going with us. ÖGMBT. Here we go.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Yes, thank you for all.
Super Closing, habt ihr toll gemacht.